And in the end, they were pipped at the post.
Yeah, you have to say the way Trump's played today, he's a heavy favourite here. My only concern for him actually is the layoff he's had. It's been about 5.5 hours since he last played. So he's just getting back into the swing of things again. But he's had a couple of centuries today. He's looked good. He always seems to play well in the Championship League in the various formats. And I've got some good news for Jess Cashman, because she entered our competition earlier and she's won the 2 tickets to see Judd Trump play at the Champion of Champions in November. We asked which was his first success in a ranking tournament. The answer was the 2011 China Open in Beijing. He beat Mark Selby in the final. And then he beat Neil Robertson, the defending champion, round 1 at the Crucible, got to the final of the World Championship, lost to John Higgins. But the 2011 China Open, a lot of people entered, and Jess Cashman is the winner. Well done.
Well done indeed. And the way the Champion of Champions is configured, you will get to see Trump play at least once, maybe twice. 4 players start out each day. They play a first round match. Then the 2 winners face each other over the best of 11 frames at night in the quarterfinals.
Yes, and if you're a Sean Murphy fan, tomorrow we'll be giving away tickets to his group, so do join us throughout the day. And of course tickets are available for the Champion of Champions. If you go to the website you can see all the information there. It's in Bolton, November 13 to 19. The winner of this tournament will get in as well, unless of course they're already qualified, as Trump is. He won the Masters in January.
Well, if Trump were to lift this trophy, that would be one long-term consolation for Jimmy White. It would improve his chances of being in Bolton.
Be interesting to ask Judd, and we will do, if he wins here, or wins the group anyway, if he has any targets this season, because of course he had a couple of years where he was winning so many tournaments, and then there was a slight drop-off. 2 seasons ago he won the Champion of Champions and the Turkish Masters, and then last season the Masters, which is a huge event, but there was no real other success. So has he set himself targets? Does he do that, or is it just a question of trying to compete in every tournament?
As another monsoon hits Leicester. These storms have been coming in waves. The heavy rain hitting the roof. That's the noise you can hear, and the noise the players can hear.
Yeah, it tells you the new season is well and truly upon us. Of course, snooker was invented in the rainy season, wasn't it, in India back in 1875? So these are the roots. People stuck indoors with nothing better to do. But from that, we have the multi-million-pound circuit today, where it's very profitable to be stuck indoors playing snooker.
The group decider on table 2 as just this second got underway. Jamie Clark breaking off against Joe Perry in the first frame.
Juicer's had an interesting day. His first shot of the match against Jimmy White, he knocked in a long red, made 73 from it. You think, wow, he's been practicing. He didn't maintain that level in the match. It should have been 2-1. Jimmy missed the pink in the 3rd frame. Juicer scrambled home on a respot. And then he struggled certainly early on against Rhian Evans. He got a draw in the end, but it seemed from that good start that his form sort of started to dip as the day went on. Whereas often it's the opposite, isn't it? The players start rusty and they sort of find form throughout the day.
Zhu knows from personal experience just how good Trump can be. They've met on 2 previous occasions. Both times Trump won comfortably. 5-1 first round of the 2017 China Championship, and then last season 4-0 in the last 32 of the British Open. In both of those matches, Trump made a century. Oh, what a fluke. What a fluke. Dare I say it, it never rains but it pours.
Well, you're entitled to. I did make that joke in the last match, actually. But anyway, when Jimmy was playing.
Sorry, Dave.
He's got to win, remember, so there's not a lot of leeway here.
4.
Certainly if he lost the first frame, he'd be really up against it. It would be a great group to win. It had a lot of sort of star power in it. Hugh's probably the least known member for general fans of the 4.
5.
Well, the Thunder from down under, he was supposed to be at day 1, wasn't he? Neil Robertson didn't show up, but the Thunder has arrived. I saw a man outside building an arc. Maybe he knew what was coming.
Well, Jimmy White's known for arcing the cue ball, but I think that's a little different.
To 11.
I was saying, Dave, to our guest commentator Ross Muir today that Zhu Se must have gained encouragement and motivation from seeing Si Jiahui do so well at the Crucible. Up until the World Championship, their careers have been pretty similar.
80.
Yes, I'm sure that's absolutely right.
$90.
We've seen a similar thing, I guess, with Jack Lisowski, being great friends with Judd Trump, seeing his success, and definitely think that's helped Jack become a top 16 player, and obviously he's got close to winning tournaments. He's played Trump, of course, in some of those finals, 3 of them. That didn't help, because Judd Trump was just so used to winning at that point.
Yes, every ranking final that Lisowski's played, he's come up against a superstar, so mitigating circumstances for those defeats.
Well, this will make it very
25.
interesting if he can take an early lead in this match. As I say, Trump has been just sort of kicking his heels. He checked out the hotel this morning, so he's just sort of been hanging around, really, waiting to play this match. Trying to avoid the snack table in the players' room. From the look of him, he has done.
And by the look of me, definitely I haven't. Temptation is a bad thing.
$26.
You're watching Xu Se, but I think Trump actually is a model professional in terms of how he just behaves at tournaments. He comes with his brother Jack. They don't get into any trouble. It's all about the matches and just being sensible in between them, eating at the right time, going to bed at the right time. All the enjoyment and the other side of life that comes between tournaments and at the end of the season, when quite rightly he enjoys himself.
30.
After a reasonable safety, though, Trump did not enjoy the fluke that has enabled Zusur to make a good start to the frame. As the thunder rumbles. And that is said fluke. You can't legislate for that. Halfway house there, though.
32.
Cracking recovery pot. But he will need another tester.
37. Yusuf. 37.
It's a useful start, but Zoo's lead might well be erased, and then some.
Well,
I can tell you, even though the first frame is still in progress on the other table, Joe Perry is going to win it, leading by 77 points now with just 59 left on the table.
72.
Yeah, that's the same scenario as on this table. Perry on that one has to win. Jamie Clark can draw and win the group, but Perry's got to win. He made a good start. Oh, as Judd Trump misses that green.
Just something.
Hasn't missed a lot today, has he, Dave? But that was a poor one.
That's what I'm saying, though. You know, the two matches he played earlier were in pretty quick succession. He's had a long wait, and that, I think, could be a factor. I mean, it's all part of the format, but he has just been hanging around waiting, and you know, you want to be as focused as possible to start playing.
Yeah, that's what happened to Matt Selt on Saturday. Only needed a frame from his last match against James Cahill and lost 3-0. Cahill advancing.
Seven.
Well, Jusser must fancy his chances here. He's seen Trump not quite as flowing as certainly earlier on in the day.
8.
As I say, if he can win this frame, then the whole scenario tightens up. because from there they would both need 2 with just 3 to play.
Forty. $50.
Superb from Joe Perry on table 2. He's won the first frame against Jamie Clark, 1-0. He won it by 133 points to 0. We can't tell you whether it was a break because the scoring system isn't available.
$90.
I'm hearing that the break from someone who watched the frame was 128. So well done to Joe Perry. Still work to do for him though. Zoo 55 ahead here, so the pink is frame ball.
Yusuf. 90.
55 for the difference, still 59 on.
If every ball was out in the open, reds and colours, given Trump's capacity for big clearances, he'd still be in this. But where the reds are, it's going to be a Herculean task to get back into the frame. The awkwardness of the reds marginally improved, but the sacrifice playing that shot, he's left a shot to nothing.
Well, that would have been, to use an overused word, very careless if that cue had gone in. Just the latitude Trump would have had with points, getting the extra 4, but anyway, it stayed out. Oh, where's this white? Oh, just okay.
What?
Great pot.
And Dave, you and I have both seen him make tougher clearances than this. The one that always sticks in my mind was the one at Southport just before the pandemic in the semi-final of the Players' Championship against Stephen Maguire to win. It was sensational.
Certainly was. Now obviously needs this black in back on its spot. It starts to become more of a chance. But as I say, needed it in. He needs a snooker now, and he has conceded.
Judd Trump 1. Frame conceded.
Yeah, low-scoring frame, all about the fluke, really, at the start, from which Zhu Se took control of the frame, and it was never really relinquished. The Chinese youngster leads 1-0. It's always around this time that the groups reach their crunch phase. Certainly that's the case on table 2, where Joe Perry has made the ideal start against Jamie Clark. Remember, Clark is won his first 2 matches, so he has got 6 points in the bag already. Perry, well, it's a draw and a win, so he's got 4 points. That means Perry must win either 3-0 or 3-1 to advance. And a 128 break in the opening frame. All good well for the former Welsh Open and Players' Championship winner. Now can Zhu Se apply more pressure to Judd Trump?
One.
He's undoubtedly been the player of the day on either table, actually. I thought his win over Jimmy White was terrific. Breaks of 75, 95 and 120, and that was the kind of pot we've become accustomed to seeing from him.
4.
Had to be pretty precise here to get on this red off the green.
5.
Needs to focus now, and maybe the fact Schuster's won the first frame will make him. He's been on his travels. He was in Macau last week, launching a new event there, which actually starts on Christmas Day. He's doing exhibitions with Jack Lazowski and Ronnie O'Sullivan. That's worked out nicely. Yeah, but he's back to work now in terms of the sort of week in, week out circuit. Obviously, if he wins tonight, he'll be back next week for stage 2, and hopefully for him for stage 3 as well.
He's never won the ranking version of the Championship League, but he's won the invitation event on 3 occasions. And our competition today was all about when his first ranking title arrived. That was in 2011, as Dave said. But his first win in the Championship League predated that by 2 years.
17.
And I think it was a really important success for him, Dave.
Definitely, because he was in with the big boys, wasn't he? I mean, he was only 19, I think, at the time. He beat Mark Selby in the final. You know, he beat other top players, and he was learning how to be in that company and learning that he deserved to be in that company.
24.
Landed on this plant.
25.
It took him a while when he turned pro. You know, he'd won so much as a junior. Maybe he thought it would be a bit easier than it was. He came up against gnarled old professionals who nailed him to the bulk cushion, playing a different sort of snooker to what he was used to. But he found his way. Everyone takes as long as they take. And when he won that China Open, he was only 21, so it didn't take that long.
Yes, he turned pro 6 years before that. So it's like the old showbiz joke. Took him 6 years to be an overnight sensation. But after winning
38.
in Beijing, never looked back.
39.
Now this is a pressure ball. You think on the face of it, black off its spot. Judd Trump. Shouldn't be a problem. But they can go astray. So can position, but not on this occasion.
46.
It was a valiant attempt to continue the run. But the red immediately below the pink, I think, is preventing the red just to the right of the pink going to middle.
Judd Trump 54.
Doesn't win in one visit, but a pretty good contribution nevertheless.
Has left a chance though. It's a middle. Yeah, so let's see how far Juicer gets here. One by one, all these reds are gonna pot, taken in the right order. On the four that are around the pink, that is. Obviously, there's two nearer cushions that are gonna take good shots to get on.
Trump's last shot of the break
8.
was a shot to nothing in many respects, but he hit it so thick. That's why the tactical aspect of the shot was off.
No. 70.
Just enough pace for the
20.
cue ball to nudge the red. Increasingly promising this to semi-awkward reds, but nothing that Zhu can't solve.
We're at that point in the day where this is, of course, by far the most important match now, so every moment in it has the potential to affect who eventually wins this group. This is the last of the loose reds we mentioned, then it's the two to deal with close to the right side cushion. No colours safe, so it's about these two reds. Well, he's got on the first
39.
of them, so maybe a bit of concern for Trump.
Wobbled a little, but it's in. And now there's more potential to drop on what is clearly the pivotal last red. Could hardly be much better than that. You would think the frame hinges on this.
42.
Centre cut. The Judd Trump modus operandi is to try and win frames in one visit. He took on a red that was asking quite a bit. I don't think he expected to leave one to middle, but he did, and this is the outcome. Zhusa on the verge of 2-0.
To be fair to Trump, where the balls were, you know, the clearance was going to be very, very tough. But Zhusa has done all the hard work. So now it's just a question of closing it out. And 2-0, that really raises the stakes. Trump would have to win the last two frames.
51.
Now then, Joe Perry with a good chance on table 2 for 2-0. Just slightly lost his way here, but he's in front by 26. Still with a chance of the red to the middle.
55.
blue and pink required.
$60.
Well, if you're not impressed by this, you should be. That was far from a simple clearance.
$73 on the
Excellent. 2 awkward reds to sort out. He did that, and he could be sorting out the group. He leads Judd Trump 2-0. He needs one more frame, and he will top the group. While you were away, breaking news on table 2, much like Zhu Sir, Joe Perry has taken a 2-0 lead over Jamie Clark. So Zhu and Joe, both of them in second place coming into their final match, needing a win, are on course to deliver. Trump wanted to win this match 3-0 in no time. But if he can come through and get a 2-all draw from here, I think actually it would do him the power of good.
It's funny though, hasn't it, how it shifted? I mean, he's made all the running today. Won 3-0 twice in no time at all. Suddenly now he's got to win the last 2. As you, sir, he's in first and he's landed nice on this black. So a chance already to get it won. And remember, against Jimmy White, from Jimmy's break-off in frame 1 of the day, he made a frame-winning break from that, 73, from a long red. He went sort of quiet in the middle of the day, but he's coming good when it matters. I mean, that clearance he just made, I think that was the best break we've seen all day, considering the difficulty of it and, of course, the importance of it in the group.
9.
Yes, looked to have perhaps thrown away his chance when he went 2-0 down against Rhian Evans, but he clawed back to gain the draw, and now that's looking as though it could be the vital fight back. Just to reiterate, I mentioned this earlier,
60.
if Zhu were to win, he would be the 6th Chinese player through to the second phase.
70.
Stationed 63rd in the world rankings, and of course when you're around that top 64 bubble,
24.
it creates pressure in itself. So if he can gain some meaningful ranking points from this event early on, and you can
25.
shed some of that pressure going forward in the season, has to be a good thing.
Well, he's come here today to take on three big names in the sport. Jimmy White, the all-time legend. Rhiannon Evans, the 12 times women's world champion. And Judd Trump, multi-champion. She's the youngest player in the group. Now, that's not quite worked out as he would have hoped.
32.
The red across the top cushion will pot, but it's far, far too risky. Just taking a look, but that would be ripping up the percentage playbook.
Yes, because he's got Trump bang under it here. 2-0 down, 32-0 down. Don't open any doors.
You sir. 32.
Relief for Trump that the break has ended. So it's quite tense now. Just joining us, Judd Trump needs a draw here, and he's 2-0 down, so he's going to have to win this frame and the last to win the group, otherwise Jussa wins it. Same scenario on table 2, where Jamie Clark now needs a draw. He's 2-0 down to Joe Perry. Played the screw back. Well, if that red had just kept on rolling, there would have been a very gettable red to that middle.
Yeah, it's still a possibility now.
Just a bit more difficult. Shades of Hendry and that respot Masters here. Not quite the same shot, but an echo of it maybe.
You know, over the course of the 13 days of this Bedvictor Championship League, Dave, we've been very lucky. The vast majority of groups have come down to the final match. Indeed, last night's featured group came down to the final ball, and after that, this one might. Terrific pot from Trump. Just a little unlucky the cue ball has meandered on.
Yeah, a big green to take on. It's a more risky shot, this, because he's playing down for reds. There was safety, an element of safety in this, of course, this shot. Playing to bulk, but if he takes the green on, which I'm sure he will, he's got to get it. And he has. I'm sure a lot of people watching would love this to come down to the last frame.
4.
Oh, he potted that one so well, so he's banging now, Phil.
Have that. What a pot that was at that pace. Yeah, last night it was a similar scenario to this actually. Noppon Sankam came into the match as we see this brilliant pot from Trump again. Noppon Sankam came into the final match needing a draw against Mark Davis. Won the first frame, lost the next two, both on the black. And then the fourth frame also went to the black. Sankam won it. He was so relieved.
Well, I guess you have to feel that Trump's just vast experience of winning tournaments and winning big matches has got to be a plus here. You know, he stood on the biggest stages of them all and delivered down the years.
Nice.
Hampered queuing on the reds. He wanted to pot, but the alternative red goes to middle with a positional angle.
27. $34. $35.
So he started the match a little slowly. He made a good 54 in the last, sat out an excellent clearance, but he's well and truly woken up now because he knows he has to deliver 2 frames.
42.
Trump, like any top player, wants to win every tournament, but also I think this event and the prospect of playing another couple of days of it is a great tune-up for the campaign to come. Remember, he's not played a competitive match since the first round of the World Championship. He lost to Anthony McGill, so it's been quite a while.
48.
Yeah, slightly less than 3 months. He's 22 in front.
54.
So that means 2 reds with a combination of pink or black will be enough. He won't need the awkward red across the top cushion.
55. $61. $62.
So this black effectively is going to make it 2-1 and set up a final frame shootout to decide who wins the group. Whoever wins the 4th frame will be our group winner. The whole day has come
69.
down to the last frame.
Now Trump here wants to make it 3 matches, 3 centuries.
70.
Well, he played some terrific stuff at the start of this break, didn't he? The long red, the green was a big shot, and then the red as well swiftly followed, but he played at pace and he's controlled it really well, so he's going to go into that last frame feeling great, particularly, as you say, if he can make a 3rd century of the day.
77.
Take his career tally to 904.
80.
Has a special season, Judd Trump, with the amount of tournaments. He could get to his 1000th century at the Crucible. That would be something.
84.
Or he could wait until this event next year to do it.
$89.
Well, it's been a great break, so all on the last frame.
$95. $102. And the frame. Judd Trump.
That kind of break is good in any circumstances. When your back is against the wall, that was brilliant. Judd Trump 1, Zuther 2, all on frame 4, and that's coming up after the break. If you subscribe to the theory that there's no substitute for experience,
21.
you won't be surprised to see Joe Perry winning the last match over on table 2 to win Group 18. Started off with a break of 128 against Jamie Clark, and the Welshman, from that point, crumbled.
26.
The group is officially over, and it's Perry who advances to Group B in the second phase, where he will join Matthew Stevens and the winner of the frame we're now watching on table 1. Not dissimilar to the red that Trump knocked in frame 3, and look at the kiss on the blue. A kiss from heaven.
Six. Seven.
Now, just before this break develops, Dave Hendon is outside having a chat with our latest group winner, Joe Perry.
Joe, you knew what you had to do in that last match. You had to win it, and you did so 3-0. You must be delighted.
Yeah, chuffed, Jegs. I think this is the first time I've won a group, I think. Yeah, going into that game was a bit different to the last 2 years. Last 2 years I've had to draw to win, so I knew the difference that makes mentally, so I tried to get a good start, put the pressure on Jamie, and it worked out all right for me.
First day back of the season for you. No one quite knows what to expect. How happy were you overall with how you played?
Yeah, I was pleased, yeah. I think sometimes it helps to not have any expectations, you know. It's not like I've been putting hours on the practice table playing great. I really didn't have no idea. I've put a little bit of work in the last week, but sort of come here sort of as practice, really. And, yeah, absolutely delighted to get through.
32nd season on tour. Do you have any particular sort of hopes for the year ahead?
No, just that there's a 33rd season and maybe a 34th.
I must ask you as well about the World Championship, the qualifier. You thought you'd relegated your great friend Mark Davis, and obviously, you know, you weren't in the mood to celebrate that. He had a reprieve. How did you sort of feel when you found that out?
I was devastated because I would have been so happy just to keep bombarding him with text messages had I just won 10-9 on the black, but I couldn't because of the situation. So, no, I was delighted for Mark. You know, I didn't want to see him drop off, you could tell by the way I reacted after I won the match. So, yeah, really pleased for Mark, and yeah, I didn't really get to celebrate. That's the only thing. He owes me one anyway.
And finally, the news gets better because you get to spend all day tomorrow with me and Phil.
It's getting better and better. This could be my greatest ever year, 32nd year.
Looking forward to it. Well done.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers.
34.
And I'll tell you what, Dave could be back on interviewing duty with Judd Trump in a few moments, because look at this. Plumb in. He's developed this break so well. Red from distance, friendly kiss to get on the blue, and it's just flown from there.
Well, it's not taken long. I just nipped out there to speak to Joe Perry. Suddenly the match is nearly done here. Or so it seems. I guess the issue here for Trump is if he does break down, everything is there for Shu Se.
If Trump does win, though, which looks increasingly likely,
46.
it's another 2 top seeds successful. And that would be 14, Dave, out of 26 groups. Doesn't matter the format, the cream rises to the top.
Well, you see it in situations like this, don't you, when you have to produce something, which he did. So far he is doing. You know, he's played well overall. I think were he to have lost this group and not had the chance to come back next week, he'd be disappointed. But it's in his own hands to get this completed. Oh, but the red has stayed out. Can you believe it? What a twist.
52.
What a twist that is.
That's incredible. That's one of the easiest balls you're ever going to see missed. It wasn't the table. It wasn't a kick. It was just a lapse in concentration. In the first frame against Rhian Evans, Shu Se missed a really easy black and regretted it. Will that be the same for Trump?
Well, the drive home with Jack might be a rather silent affair if that's the last shot he plays, because it was in his hands to get the frame one and obviously top the group. He should be back in Leicester next week. Now, Shu Se has already made a great clearance 73 in frame 2. Can he do it again to win the group himself?
Yeah, that clearance was much more complex than this. Judd Trump will be fearing the worst. What a blunder that red was.
9.
When they made the draw for the first phase, this group,
50.
on paper, looked potentially the most entertaining, and it's
6.
lived up to expectations. What a finish.
Well, Judd Trump had it in his hands, now it's in Schuster's. There's not a safe ball on the table, you got to say. But there's pressure on, they're both aware of the situation.
23. Yusuf.
Yeah,
23.
he finished close to that side cushion, didn't he? And, well, what a chance it was. They both had a golden chance, but Trump now comes back to the table 29 in front. Very relieved, I'm sure, to get another one.
One.
And Jack Trump backstage delighted. He's thinking, I can turn on the radio now, I can have a conversation.
As long, of course, as he now puts this away. It's a chance he might not have got. .35 in front, so he needs 2 of the 3 reds
6.
to win this group.
Seven. Forty.
The man who can make the cue ball dance just chose to birdie that one in. And who can blame him? He's had a scare here in more ways than one.
20.
It was an entertaining group all round, wasn't it? We saw Ryan Evans get 3rd place, but this man has finally won it, surely.
Judd Trump 20.
Yes, it is now confirmed. Zusa concedes. Judd Trump fights back from 2-0 down to gain the desired draw. And with that, it is 7 points for the former world champion, the former world #1, and progress into the second phase of the Bet Victor Championship League